This is the first year it's going to be mine. Let's bring the man in and let's get his opinion. By the way, I wonder if he's moved off that 5 wins. He is. Angelo, it's gotten worse.
Oh, it's gotten bad. If you're saying that I moved to Philadelphia because the media was tough in sports. I had the greatest writers: Stan Hockman, Mark Wicker, John Schulian. It was a parade, all at the Daily News. I wasn't that thrilled with the columnists that were working at the Inquirer, to be honest with you. They were softer. But I like the guys that went for the jugular. These guys now, they think they're in public relations. This isn't even covering a team. And I got to be honest, I love the fans. They were with me for so long. I don't want the Eagles to be bad this year. But if you hear a cackle coming from Chestnut Hill on Friday night when the Eagles are down 3 touchdowns in the second half, understand I will be cackling not at those fans and not even at that team. I'll be cackling at a media that has convinced itself, and then the people that listen or read them or whatever they do with them, that this team is going to be really, really good. They are not going to be really, really good. I've seen enough football to know the difference between a pretender and a contender. And this team,
5 wins. Wow.
and,
He is
and
not
Friday
moved.
night is not water.
No,
Not
they're going to lose that game on Friday, in my opinion. They're going to lose that. By the way, I have to admit something to you, Angelo. So Marcus Hayes reached out to me, and I go to him and I say, hey, listen, I'd love to get you on. He goes, I hear Angelo likes you. So I'm going to come on your program this week. And I told him, I said, oh my God, that's fantastic. So he goes, listen, he goes like this, you're a pretty controversial guy. I go, well, I've realized something that Angelo taught me. If you're saying that telling the truth is controversial, then hey, I'm all that, because I'm with you, Angelo. I look at this team and all the things I see about it, I go like this. Okay, there's a lot of talent on offense. I got it.
True.
But what about the massive issues on defense?
Massive.
Vic Fangio came out and said this. Today, that the Huff's not a 3-down player. Where are you getting your pressure from? Your secondary is going to be young and old and all in the same thing. There's no middle ground. Your linebackers, the comment that he made, Angelo, was it's evolving and we really aren't set in our way. So you're going to play a game against the Packers and you don't even know who your starting backers are?
Well, you didn't play them. You didn't play them in the preseason. No, I got to tell you, Dan, the one thing that got me since the last time I've been on, I've been laughing my ass off at this for a long time. So the Eagles had 16 practices encompassing their training camp. And against all logic, in the first 15, Jalen Hurts did not throw a single interception. And in the 16th and final training camp, he did. Slay picked one off, ran it back 30 yards. And the people covering the team were going, oh my God, how great is Hurts right now? And because I try to look at it objectively, went, how bad is the defense? It's like it was the last 7 games last year. They didn't cover anyone. And they didn't cover anyone in the preseason. I watched that third game against the third-string quarterback, and he had his day. And everyone was wide open. Jordan Love, right now, as we're speaking, I'm breaking a story here, is being treated for severe dehydration because when he looked at the tape of the Eagles, he began drooling so profusely they had to give him an IV. You understand? The guy has no liquid left. He drooled. This defense is bad. It's bad. It's not. It's bad. And Vic Fangio is not a miracle worker. He's not going to make these guys good. They got no linebackers. They got rid of Fletcher Cox in the middle. They got these young guys that get tired after 3 games.
Did you hear? Get this. Did you hear what Vic said? Somebody asked him a question. They go, "Hey, do you think they're in shape?" And Vic said this. He goes, "I don't know. That was practice. We didn't get a chance to get any reps in the preseason, really. So I don't know. We'll find out." So you don't know if your guys are in shape or not. That's a shot at the Oregon. I'll tell you, this guy Vic Fangio, he may not have the players, Angelo, but he's telling you, hey, don't be shocked that these guys aren't in shape because they didn't have any game reps.
You're getting the truth from 2 people right now in the Eagles and lies from everyone else. And the true people, number one, is Hurts. He's answering questions honestly, and the media is upset that he's not kissing ass the way they are. All right, that's one. And the other one is Fangio, because he's old school and he's being honest with you. He's giving you. You never get an honest answer from Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, all those guys that precede him. The 2 losers they had last year at coordinators. They finally got a guy now who's giving you the truth. And even he's not sugarcoat. The only guy who's sugarcoat is the paid spokesman for the team, Nick Sirianni. Right? That's all he's doing. He's talking. And nobody, I mean, if you're paying attention to that guy, you're an idiot.
How about this, Angelo? The guy at the press conference today asked him a point-blank question. He goes, so what is it like not being involved in the game plan? And his comments were, well, it gives me a chance to pop in and out. I get to go talk to like the parking attendants and the guys over at the player lounge. I get to go talk to how, and I'm like,
great.
Will you answer the question? What's it like not to be involved in a game plan for the first time in 3 years? This guy's the biggest word salad coach I've ever seen. He'll tell you everything you don't want to know.
I don't have sources here, but I think I know. So he pops his head in. Hey, boys, are we getting ready for the game Friday night? And they go, yeah. And then he leaves and all the eyes roll. Oh, thank God he's not doing it this year. But it's not going to matter. Do you understand? Defensively, they are a disaster waiting to happen. I'm saying minimum. Green Bay puts 35 up Friday night. Minimum.
How much does Love put up?
400 minimum. 400 passing yards minimum. And the only reason is they'll stop. This is not a close game. This is a loss. And the media that is so, oh my God, what a team this year. Oh, Howie. Yeah, he put a lot of talent on that team. You still need to coach it. You still need to figure out how to use it. And I don't see that. They never even tried it in the preseason with brand new coordinators. They never put him on a field.
And a new center. Angelo, I want you to hear something that was the other day with Jalen Hurts here. And I want you to hear this here. That was this was played.
NFC. Jalen Hurts admits that he was told not to worry about a lot of things when it came to pass protection with Jason Kelce under center. But now with the passing of the torch to 25-year-old third-year center Cam Jurgens, Hurts will have a more important role in things like picking up the blitz. Here's Hurts on the post-Jason Kelce era.
We had a great player in Jason Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility, and as a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn and all of that over the years, kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey.
Holy crap. I mean, he's basically telling you that the organization told him, don't worry about where pressure's coming from. So think about this for a second, Angelo. That means this. If he comes to the line of scrimmage and Jason Kelce has set the line protection, he can't audible out of that because he's pigeonholed in that scenario. That's why the interceptions were up high last year, because he was set in the direction from the front office and from the coaching staff. He had no way out of that. There's no question, in my opinion, he went to that front office this offseason, and he got him out of that room, and he got Kellen Moore and that Nussmeier guy, and those are the 2 guys that are handling it.
Right.
There's no question, and he's getting killed for that, Angelo, for telling the truth.
Totally right on all points. And here's what's going to happen. Here's why on offense you should have grave concerns. The Eagles proved at the end of last season they didn't know how to handle the blitz. Now they don't have Kelce. All right. So they didn't even know how to do it when Kelce was there. 10 unmolested attacks at the quarterback in the playoff game. Nobody touched 10 guys rushing at Jalen Hurts. And now you're going to tell me they got that fixed. My theory is when they signed Saquon Barkley, they signed him for his
pass protection,
but just as much, if not more, because he's a really good blocker on the blitz. But here's the problem. If he's doing it, the teams are going to blitz the Eagles like they've never seen before. And that guy is not durable. And if he's constantly on his heels, blocking, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it through the season. He hasn't made it through the last 3 seasons. Not going to make it physically. And that's why I see problems on the offense. They're going to score points. They've got those 3 receivers now with the addition of Dotson. They've got phenomenal weapons. They're terrific weapons. They're overstating how good the offensive line is because it's not going to be nearly as good without Kelce. And other weaknesses will show now more. They're using the kid from the Jets, the first round. Yeah, they're using him now as a guard. If you made the team, they dumped him in New York. They didn't think he could block. And he's a starter on the Eagles. I'm telling you right now, guys, I hate this. I don't know what I would be doing if I had a show every day because nobody wants to turn on the radio and hear how the Eagles stink this year. But the Eagles stink this year. They're going to win 5 games. Sirianni's going to be fired maybe before the end of the season. They're going to have to reset, and they're going to have to find people to take this talent and make it work.
Angelo, do you think he then, what you're predicting is that he gets in the way?
Oh, he absolutely gets in the way. And the thing is, now he's not going to emote on the sideline, all right? I'm still trying to figure out what he's getting paid to do. What is he doing? He's popping in on meetings. He's not doing any game planning. He's not doing any play calling. He's not doing any strategy because that's all prefigured via the analytics. He's not doing that either. What is he doing? This is a job I'm willing to take because I'm retired. Sounds like he's doing what I'm doing. Nothing.
Hey, and again, when he gets asked these pressing questions, and it's you know what? I got to say, Angelo, there's no doubt that he is the perfect head coach for the owner and for the general manager because he is a guy that is going to placate to anything that they want. They were asked a question. Vic wanted more practice time, and you know what he said? He goes, I regretted not putting him back on the field this year, but, we made that decision. Dude, you didn't make that decision. The front office made that decision for you. Right. So he placates to that. And at the end of the day, Angelo, that's getting in the way because he has no autonomy in the locker room.
Well, I got to say, I'll agree with you that this is a good coach for the owner because the owner wants just everyone around him to kiss his ass. He's not a good coach for the general manager who is, again, I thought had a good offseason. They have talent. The thing that will drive you insane is that offense has got as much talent on it as any Eagles team I've seen. And they're still going to have trouble because they can't do basic stuff that good coaching could counteract, like handling blitzes, stuff like that. That's going to be a problem. Defense, they're overrating the young kids from Georgia. I hate to say it, they're overrated. You can't lose Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce and Hassan Reddick and tell me you're going to be better. And you were terrible with all 3 of them last 7 games last year. I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong. I will come on this show next week and eat a live crow if the Eagles go out and crush the Packers on Friday night. But I would be shocked because the Eagles are vastly overrated. And they're 2.5-point favorites.
At some places, 3.
3-point favorites in Brazil. This isn't even at the link. This is in Brazil. Not going to happen, guys. I hate to say it. They're going to get swamped on Friday night.
No, I'm with you. I think the Packers put up a 35 spot or more, and he puts up 450 yards passing. I mean, it's just going to be whether or not they can keep him out of the end zone from red zone. And I just don't see where Where's the advantage that the Eagles have on defense against the Packer offense? Where's the advantage? I don't see one place.
No, and the Packers are going to tee you off on Hurts.
They're going to blitz him in the first quarter. They're going to find out if he can handle it. Actually, they're going to find out if Cam Jurgens can handle it.
I feel for Cam Jurgens. I know he's a good player, but he's in an impossible spot trying to take over for Kelsey. He is. He's going to pale by comparison. And I'll tell you one other thing. I only saw it a couple of times in the preseason. I don't think the tush push is going to work anymore either.
Oh, no. That thing's retired. I think that was Kelsey. Yeah, I think it's retired. Angelo, I'm going to take you off the page here a little bit because I saw something over the weekend that kind of was troubling. And now all of a sudden the PR czar, known as the greatness of Bob Lang, is high at work right now. And there's a lot of contradictions going on that some of the people that were working with the Eagles were putting up Kamala Harris posters, and they had Philadelphia Eagle, PhiladelphiaEagle.com. They had all this. And now there's a lady out there that's posting all of these tweets that the guy who was the head of PR for Penn State and also worked with the organization for the Harris campaign and also with the Eagles were totally aware. And all of a sudden, they got some backlash on it, and they started going around saying, well, our vendor. I'm like, well, those are on bus stops. So who's your vendor here? And all of a sudden now they're in massive cleanup mode again. I don't know if you've seen this story at all, but it really it's an interesting story to me because it just shows once again how the Eagles try to control the entire environment around Philadelphia.
I don't know if they had a hand in that. I know when I first saw the ad, I went, wow, that looks almost professional. That's pretty well done.
The fonts look the same. The fonts look the same as the Eagle fonts.
PhiladelphiaEagles.com/vote, which is directly goes right to their own website. And I'm going, then they came right out. Let me say this, all right? And I am not being political here. If the Eagles were to announce that they were supporting Harris strongly, they would lose more than half of their constituency because a lot of Trump supporters are Eagles fans, a lot of them. And I found that out when I was talking about the COVID thing when Trump was in, and I might have made a comment or two that didn't please the Trump people. And I went, all right. There's the end of that one.
But Angelo, to the point is, you are a company that's trying to be a civic pride thing, not trying to be like the NBA and pick and tell people who to vote for, take shots or not. You're there because you want Republicans and Democrats at Lincoln Financial enjoying themselves on a Sunday afternoon, not sitting there having political jarbs going back and forth like our country is right now. That's the only place in the world still, Angelo, where you can get Republicans and Democrats and independents in one place and 79,000 fans, and we're watching one thing. I can't think that that's a good look for an organization that you would want even the impression that you're sitting there doing something like that. Again, I found that. And by the way, the cleanup job is like everywhere right now. And it's plastered all over social media that the Eagles did have some understanding about those billboards.
Yeah, that's the last thing the Eagles need 3 days before they open the thing is a political scandal. All I know is this, that the main point you made, Dan, is a great point. The Eagles, more than any team has ever attempted before this, are trying to manage the message, manage every aspect of it, control what's going out into the media, make it align with us. We are the kings, and we will set the agenda. Now, whether it went as far as that, I don't know. But what they have done, and it is work. The sad part to me is it is work. They have intimidated almost the entire media in this town.
Oh, yes.
Being a bunch of cheerleaders and not seeing things accurately. And I have seen this. When the Eagles flop early, and they're going to lose 3 or 4 of the first.
Oh, I think they start 0-2.
They're going to be 1-3 when they go to the bye. And then they'll tell you all along, I had this concern. I knew they were going to have a problem with the blitz. I knew people were overrating that defense. Then they'll tell you all the things they are not saying now and pretend they said it all along. You got to be honest from day one. And if you're really looking at the situation, and look, we are both going to look like blithering idiots if the Eagles win 12 games. And you know what? I will be the first one to bow down and go, man, I'm
No
done.
way.
I'm too negative. But damn, I've seen a lot of football. I'd be shocked. And I hate this because this city's going to be depressed around Halloween when they realize that they have hooked their wagon to a loser. This is a bad team.
What's your prediction on Friday? Got a score in mind?
35-17.
That's not real close, Angelo.
No, it won't be close. It'll be over by the half. But in the fourth quarter, the Packers will show some mercy. They can name the score.
They're gonna
400 yards for Love minimum passing, just passing 400 yards. Write it
Angelo,
down.
the blog. I mean, how's it going? I know that people go there each and every single week there.
If people want the truth, I give it to you every week. It's at angelocataldi.com. And I've been dealing with all this. I've been talking about the Phillies. I think they may be a bit overrated as well. But mainly it's the Eagles and this incredible propaganda machine that the Eagles have rolled out in a city that has never permitted this kind of ass kissing before. It's outrageous.
Do you think that your retirement was the last linchpin to
well, here's
it really seems it, because you know why? They wouldn't even put Sirianni on with you your final week, from what I'm understanding. They wouldn't put him on. And so that was kind of a shot at you. Get this. Think about that for a second. As much as you bitched, as much as they bitch about you, they still know what kind of presence you had for those 40 years being on the air.
Right.
You wouldn't have the respect to go like this out the door. So they would take a shot at you out the door by not putting the head coach on in his final shot, going out the door, because they were afraid of what you were going to ask him on the way out the door, because you had nothing. Then again, not that you held back anyway, but
no. I'll tell you what I was going to ask him. I was going to lead with it. And I was ready to let them know this is what I'm leading with. Because the week before he had attacked me publicly for not liking Jonathan Gannon. And in the second half of that Super Bowl,
I remember that
the Eagles fell apart. They fell apart. It would have been 4 touchdown drives, but the fourth one, the guy went down at the 1-yard line, so they couldn't give the ball back to the Eagles. And I would have started by going, first question, I would have gone, so do you still really love Jonathan Gannon? That's what I would have asked him. And you know what? At that point, if he was a man's man, he would have gone, I still love Jonathan. He did so much for us, but that wasn't his finest moment. And I shouldn't have attacked you the way I did when you said Jonathan Gannon sucks as a defensive coordinator. Little did I know they'd find one just as bad the next year. but
Angelo,
I
do you
ask him about it because he made me a part of the story. On my final week, he went, I want to talk to Angelo here. Yeah, you want to talk to me if you win. You don't want to talk to me if you lose. And your guy fell flat on his face. Meanwhile, behind your back, he's interviewing for the next job. He's talking to the people in Arizona. Oh, it was awful. He didn't come on because I would have confronted him with all the things that they said and all the things that actually happened. And he didn't want to deal with that. So see you later.
How about this, Angelo? Do you think that came from the owner and the general manager, or do you think that came from Nick?
I don't know. The owner, we have a 28-year feud going. The owner may not even remember I was still there at this point. I don't know. He moved on. But to answer your original question, did things get different after I left?
Yeah.
They get different in one way, all right? When I was there, I could say what I thought, unfettered. because Bob Lang could call whoever the hell he wanted. I was going to say what I wanted till the last day. All right. And that my bosses knew that. And once I left, the new people did not have the same level of latitude that I did, because they weren't grandfathered into an era in Philadelphia when you could say whatever
They didn't have
you
the
wanted
equity.
without the teams calling your friggin' boss every day. That didn't happen the first 20 years that I was there. And then when they started trying to manage it, I fought back on it. But once I'm out of there, everybody's saying, well, I don't want to tick off our business partners. We're the flagship station of the Eagles. I better make sure what I'm saying is, if not kind, at least not obnoxious. That never bothered me. I was often obnoxious.
You know what the word obnoxious means to me? Conviction. Okay. Wow. So, I mean, whatever people say that to me, because they say that I have a way of like antagonizing people. And I go, well, if antagonizing means I'm forthright and I tell the truth, then you got it. I'm all over that. But it just seems to me, Angelo, that city, when I tune on a radio show, I think I'm tuning on like LA radio. It just sounds snowflake stuff. And I'm like, man, I mean, all the way back when you first started and all that hardcore, people forget it wasn't FAN that started Sports Talk. It was IP that started a year earlier. And they had national guys on. You guys went completely local, and New York picked it up at WFAN and went, we need to be local like they're doing it in Philly, like you guys were doing it. And it's really a transformation over the last 4 years. And I'll say this one last thing to you, Angelo. I don't care who you get on as host at WIP. Do you know why that station works? Because of the fans. What you wrote in the book here is this. You could have a trained monkey be behind the mic right now. And very special ones were able to translate those numbers and get advertisers like you and Howard Younger and other people that you had on. But when you understand that market, the fans are what make that station roll. It's not the host.
Well, let me tell you, this is why I come on with you all the time, Dan. 100% true. I was the luckiest man alive for 33 years to be able to talk to these fans all the time. They're amazing. They love this stuff, the passion, the feeling, the
best fan base I've ever been talking to.
It isn't. And the fact is that when things don't go right, I'm not sure how these guys are going to react. I don't think they'll ever truly serve the honest criticism that this city has been known for. I don't think that we're going to hear it anymore.
I think the Eagles have poisoned it.
I think the Eagles have set it in a bad direction.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll ever go back the other way again. And
no, because really you know what these companies are now doing? Because when you have a property, and like you said, these guys are professional sales anglers now for the companies because they're afraid of being canceled or cancel culture, what have you, Angelo. And so what happens is you become a professional salesman for the Eagles and not really critical. I mean, you made the point about Howard. I can't believe what I'm watching here. Howard Eskin survives that, okay? Yeah. And he's in the front row asking questions at a pit about the upcoming game about Brazil. And I'm thinking, in Philadelphia, they just ran over a guy who had a sexual harassment accusation against them, and they just put that in the back rearview mirror. Since when is that? I mean, it really told me a lot about where that market is right now and the type of people that are behind the mics.
Yeah,
I mean, Angelo,
Howard in his day was the pioneer of hardcore critical conversation, but not with the Eagles once they gave him sideline access for the games and all the other stuff. And they protected him. If they had said, no, we don't want him back on our sideline, that would have been the end. But it wasn't the end. So now he gets to watch a 5-11 season or 5-12 season and make excuses for them also. And make no mistake, he will make excuses for them.
Maybe what you should have did, Angelo, is you should have invited Sirianni over for some pasta fazool. I'm sure your wife makes a mean-ass pasta fazool. Yeah. Hey, maybe you guys could have broke some Italian bread because, boy, I'll tell you. Frank Reich gave me his cell phone number. I got in contact with him, And then Bob called me. I haven't told you this one. So he called me. He goes, why would I put on the head coach when you're so critical of the GM? And I go, I'm critical of the GM because his draft choices suck on defense.
Mm.
And he goes, well, no, they don't. I go, well, name me one corner you've drafted in the last 15 years from the draft that started and been a Pro Bowler. You can't. Name me one pass rusher that you've had as a Pro Bowler in the last 15 years that you haven't gone out in free agency and gotten. Couldn't. I said, name me one linebacker that you've drafted in the last 20 years. And he goes, it can't. And I'm going like, well, I can't put on the head coach. And I'm like, why? Because I'm critical of a guy drafting?
Mm.
And that's when he's done. And I saved the text. I'm going to send it to you later, and you'll see. And he goes, yeah, you talk so much shit on Howie. And I'm like, he does a lot of things right, but I think you're right, Angelo. I appreciate you doing this for me here. Make sure you check the blog out. The book is doing great. How's the audio part of it doing?
The audio's doing amazingly well. A lot of the people that listen to my show are not huge readers, I have learned.
Hey, well, I like the picture. You know what? When I always look for pictures, Angelo, and
yeah,
so when I see pictures, I'm always taken to that, and I go to the pictures right here, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's one of me totally bald, right?
Get out of here.
Yeah, I lost a bet, and I have a totally shaved head. It's like really shiny and all. And I got to be honest with you, that don't let a kid see that. It'll give them nightmares. It's really bad.
Picture of you and Christy. There, she throwing out the first pitch. Good stuff, Angelo. Good stuff, Angelo. Thank you. Hey, you know what? Do you mind if I get you on next week?
Dan, whenever you need me, man, I'm retired. I got plenty of time. And if the Eagles win, I will be happy and more than happy to eat some crow. But
Great.
They're going to lose decisively on Friday night in Brazil.
We'll be disappointed. Get this. People think we're going to be happy. We're going to be disappointed if they lose.
No. I love this city when the Eagles are winning. But this team isn't. Sorry, not this year.
Angelo, I'll see you next week. Thank you, my friend. Tell your family hi, and we thank them very much. Thank you, Angelo.
And my wife said Sirianni is not getting in this house under any condition.
He sounds like my wife. My wife holds grudges too. She's like this. No.
No,
that's not working.
Apologize. Keep my name out your mouth.
Thank you, Angelo. I appreciate it. You got it. The great Angelo Cataldi. We appreciate him so much. And so now, guess what? He'll be on next week. Either to eat crow with Big Sills or have sorrow for the Eagles losing. By the way, I got a feeling this is going to be a weekly deal. Every Monday. JM goes, nobody likes him. Get this. He says that nobody likes Angelo, and he was on 40 years in Philly. Well, I wish someone hated me that long. Holy cow. 40 years. Hey, you hated him a ton, and he was the number one rated guy in the city. Wow. Can I have that? Sorrow my ass, Sue says. Stu, if you win, good. If you lose, I'll have sorrow. Stu, don't you believe me? I will have more sorrow than you know. You don't believe I'll have sorrow? Come on, man. Hey, by the way, Gary Cobb will be with us. Xander, make sure you send him off a tweet or an email if you can. Let me know if you got that. Okay, send Gary Cobb off he got the link. And look at this. Everybody swears at me. Why do I instigate that kind of language? I mean, why do I have to instigate that kind of language? Xander will join us at the top of the hour at 5:00. Why do I have to have that kind of language being spoken to me? I'm a nice guy here, man. I'm a professional antagonizer, I guess. Hey, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Where are we in the like list right now? Where are we on the like list? Antagonist? No, I'm not an antagonist. I'm Big Sills. Okay? I'm Big Sills. Okay, hold on. 149. Come on, guys. Let's get that bad puppy up there, man. Holy cow. You guys are really moaning over the fact that Angelo and I have upped it from 7 to 9. He says you're going to win 5 games. That's a guy who was on your market for 40 years. What happened? Flexen says 7 and 9. Hold on here. Sills and Angelo get along because they are both delusional about the Eagles. Delusional? No, we speak the truth. We speak the truth. 5 isn't serious. Okay? Dan, don't bow to these stoops. Hey, Rock. Really? Angelo went senile. Come on, man. 5 wins is a bit extreme, Sills. I can't lie. I think 5 wins is a little extreme myself. Okay? All right, guys. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.